listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. And now you can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or you can email the show directly through the Absolute Radio website. But please don't text us this morning. In short, we're sick of it.
Yeah, just over it.
Yeah, I've had enough now of the texting thing. Shut up. Now,
extraordinary opening for a show.
This is a pre-recorded show, so if you text us, do we not bleed? No, that's wrong, isn't it? If you text us, we won't be able to read those texts out because we're not live, and I don't want you wasting your money in the current climate.
Oh, using up my memory. Oh, my storage is always full these days.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I thought it was the jeans were just a bit tightly cut. Yeah, so, can I tell you, I know we have a bit of a rule on this show that telling people your dreams is profoundly boring, but if I don't share this with someone, I'm gonna bust.
I know. I will allow you to tell the dream.
Well, the great thing about this,
can I have one?
No, because you know why? It's like it's like your life being directed by the Mighty Boosh.
Oh,
That's what a dream is like.
Yeah, well,
there's nothing wrong with that.
This is a bit more real. There's no, Also, can I point out, I just managed to say bust on Absolute Radio without anyone really noticing, which I'm quite excited about. Anyway, so...
okay, so tell us about when the shark ate the bubble gum.
No, it's nothing like that. My dreams aren't like that.
Oh, it's always that, isn't it?
No, my dreams are always, I'm in the supermarket buying cheese. It's always stuff like that.
Okay.
Anyway, what it was, I was in a taxi cab with Adam Rickett.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember him?
He's from Coronation Street.
Muscle-bound young man.
Muscle-bound, yeah. He was once naked in one of his pop videos.
Yeah.
Remember, he had a pop career.
I don't remember that.
Oh, I do.
You do.
I met him at a rave once in the 90s.
Did you?
Genuinely.
Wow.
Lovely.
Well, that's quietly taken me aback now. Did you, Ricky? No,
I spoke to him.
I'm thinking what Andy Gray would have said if someone had said
Yeah. No, I only spoke to him for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
I don't want my new boyfriend to hear me saying this.
No. Spoke to Adam Rickett for 5 minutes. Congratulations. That's a bit like being on Just a Minute, the golden final.
Yeah.
I don't know, you might be brilliant.
Okay.
But anyway, in this dream, we were sharing a cab, and I said, I've got to get out of here. And he said, OK, well, give me some money, for your half of the fare. I said, OK. I said, what do you want? And he said, just give me some £20 notes. I said, are you kidding me? And he said, look, and he pointed at the meter. It was 260 quid.
Yeah.
Where did you come from, Birmingham?
I don't know where we'd been, and I don't know where we were going.
This is an anxiety dream, innit? Had you had a big bill in that day?
No. This is getting a cab driver to drive around while you're up to no good.
So he said, give me some notes. I
know,
remember
I've done
that.
Some notes.
Give me some notes, he said. And he basically took all the money out of my wallet. I mean, I handed it to him. And then I got out, and I was still a bit light, I think.
Oh.
Anyway, I woke up then, and it was like 2 in the morning, and honestly, I was genuinely shaken and upset. Like I'd had some terrible dream about, death and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really upset. I don't know whether it was the money or the Rickett. But something had upset me properly.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Oh, that dream's depressing.
Well, is it depressing? I mean, it suggests I'm living the high life, doesn't it?
Oh, with Adam Ricketts in a minicab.
No, I think it was a black cab.
Was it a black cab?
Yeah, it had a meter.
That was extravagant.
Yeah, it was...
Maybe it was an anxiety dream about that black cab strike that was on last week when they all drove into Trafalgar Square. That was in the news. Could have been that.
I think, if I had to bet, I would say it's to do with the flimsiness of fame. I'd been...
Doctor Who.
I'd taken Chico's name in vain on the last show.
I believe you referred to him as poor devil.
Yeah, and I think maybe suddenly I felt that in a way I was in the same black cab as Ricky. Why are you calling him Rickett like he's Madonna?
Rickett.
His name's Adam Rickett.
Okay, it is Rickett, not Ricketts, isn't it?
Does it matter?
Well, it matters. Madams to Rickettians everywhere. I bet he's got a fan club that's called something like "Can You Rickett? Yes, he can," or something like that. I went to a Jerry Anderson. Jerry Anderson who did Thunderbirds and all that. I went to a thing organised by his fan club, and they're called Fanderson.
Very good.
Well, that's rather good.
Excellent.
Actually.
So
So I dreamt that I
Oh.
That's what we're doing, isn't it?
No, but yours is going to be, and then the shark ate the bubble gum.
It might be a bit. I dreamt that I was riding a Lambretta scooter with my daughter in the footwell of it, and
in the foot.
you know the footwell of a scooter, like a Vespa style scooter. She was just sat there, no seatbelt on, and I'm a health and safety dad. I wince even like at the swings.
Was she not strapped in or anything?
Not strapped in, and in keeping with her personality, she was loving that.
Yeah, I bet
she's
she was.
totally fine with it. But looking back on it now, I wish I hadn't done that.
No.
Anyway,
But no harm came of it.
well, exactly. It was only a dream.
This is the joy of the dream. I feel one can be a bit
Yeah.
haphazard with health and safety in a dream.
Yeah.
What I hate about dreams is the narrative structure is just all over the place. And characters change, and I won't have characters changing. Doesn't that frustrate you?
Oh, I have
Does
to
that not bother
say,
you about
When your
neighbours,
boyfriend turns into your accountant.
well, that can easily happen. That's what's happened. That's what's happened in my relationship. I have to say, to be fair, that Ricky was pretty consistent throughout.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. He was so tender.
He hasn't changed a bit, actually. But how could he have? I have no data to change him.
Wasn't he famous for his bod?
Yeah.
Yes, he still looked pretty ripped
Oh.
in my dream.
He looked ripped.
Yeah, I mean, he might, for all I know, he might be clinically obese.
He might.
He was regularly the fittest fella in soap, I seem to
Yeah.
recall.
Was he? Okay. Well, let's look him up and find out.
Yeah.
If you know anything interesting about Adam Rickett, don't text us because we're not live
Yeah.
about that. Also, back to the real world now. I was at Heathrow Airport.
Airport?
Airport, sorry.
It's a wig transporter. Heathrow Airport.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's try that again. Heathrow Airport.
Yeah.
And now, what do you think about? I was queuing up to go through to the gate, so I had, boarding pass and passport in hand.
And cloak of celebrity.
Well, not really. I didn't feel that at all. And there was a woman who was taking the passports, and she's going, "Thank you. Can you can you thank you for it?" And I thought, oh, she sounds awful. And it was like a real frog in the throat, dry throat. And it so happened I'd got a packet of tunes in my pocket,
Oh, lovely.
and which I bought in the 1970s shop round the corner from Nora. So as I went through, I said, "Would you like one of these?" And honestly, she looked as if I'd lowered my clothing. She went.
You don't mean your tie?
She said, "I'm good. Have a good flight." And really looked away
good.
from me, and I wanted to pull her up, obviously, on the repetition of "good,"
Yeah.
as in "I'm good. Have a good
I'm
flight."
glad you
It didn't seem right.
Hey, maybe
but-
she thought you were implying she had bad breath.
Well, I said you sound like you've got, but I could tell. She looked at the bloke who was next to her in a kind of a. I know when I walked off, she went, "Weirdo." That was a good turn.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
On the...
I had what was that? Hitler's
Blondie.
dying words.
Yeah.
Some of you may know Hitler died in the arms of his Alsatian. Technically the legs, but it sounds less romantic. I always thought. Speaking of legs, I had pains in my thighs, both thighs this week.
Oh.
I hadn't been doing any physical exercise, and I thought I've had these pains before. And I tell you what, is it possible to get growing pains into your 50s?
Well, I'm not a doctor, but I would guess not.
Are growing pains a real thing?
Yeah.
Are they caused by growing?
I don't think so.
Oh,
No,
you
yes,
say
they are.
I think the pain
thought-
is real.
Oh.
well,
don't
the
know if-
pain's real enough.
I don't know if the cause is definitely growing. I think
Well,
it's just
hold
what we
on.
call them.
I think they are a real thing, but not at your age, if you don't mind me saying.
Well, hold on. If they're not,
Oh.
as the cockerel suggests, tied to growing, then sure you can get them at any age.
Well,
could you get it?
You're
from-
making the rookie error of assuming that the cockerel's right.
Yeah.
Could there be a thing called shrinking pains, in which you get in later life when you're about to become stooped and wizened?
That's going to be very difficult.
Stooped and wizened. What a double act they were. Hello, I'm stooped and I'm wizened. Well, they really. I mean, do kids still get them? I haven't heard of them for years.
My little boy gets growing pains.
What about the old
his legs?
The voices still break, or has that gone?
I think voices still break.
But
he is only
Frank.
6.
I never hear voices breaking.
No, you never hear that mentioned.
No,
I thought
it's one of those 70s things that's disappeared.
Yes,
Do you guys hang around with like 15-year-old boys a lot, do you? And that this is coming up all the time. No. I would suggest not. But if you were high school teachers, I would imagine you'd go, voices still break.
In a way, we're all high school teachers.
Yeah.
Can't you tell by how terrible breath?
Can't you tell by the age of my boyfriend?
I like the way the information is gradually being drip-fed to our readers.
Well, you say drip-fed, I would say boasted about, but...
Oh, jealous much?
That's what I do if anyone's a bit jealous. It's a bit from John Lennon's Jealous Guy.
Oh, lovely.
I think it was the last whistling hit in the British charts.
Was it?
Big fan of whistling on the recorded format, aren't you?
One thing I'm going to say about the pains you're experiencing, one of the things I've always loved most about you is your tolerance for pain.
Yes.
Don't lose that.
I think that comes from the community he's a member of, you know.
Yes. And that's so much not a tolerance of as a hankering for. Yes, certainly my S&M compatriots. Obviously, they feed on pain like a budgerigar feeds on cuttlefish. But this is different. This is coming from the inside.
Oh.
And that ain't so good.
Inner thigh pain.
Inner thigh pain, yes. It's
you're doing a lot of skateboarding or something like that. Is it maybe that?
Not much.
Just the usual.
I bought a red and yellow Triang scooter with white wheels, which I've been going to the butcher's on.
Oh, lovely.
But that was 1968.
Did you get me a birthday card while you're back there?
Well, it did make me realise, though, that I've never heard anyone mention either growing pains or breaking voices, and I did wonder if it's something, people don't have a lazy eye anymore. I wonder if it's a thing that's.
Don't they get lazy eyes then?
No, I don't. You can call them that anymore.
You started it.
It's politically incorrect. You have to call it an unmotivated eye. Disenfranchised eye. That's what I've got.
Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
We were on the subject of things that feel a bit 1970s. I think so far we've had tunes, growing pains, and voice breaking. I did something which I associate with the past. I was mowing the lawn this week. I'm partial now to mowing the lawn. It's one of my great pleasures.
And not occasionally. It sounds like you're really racking up the miles on the lawnmower there.
Well, I've got it at quite a high setting.
You worried about the cost, Al?
No, it's just...
Okay.
Thought you might be saddle sore. Maybe that's just hurting the thighs.
No, I've got... I'm not a Stridey. It's not one of those.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a pusher. But I've got it at a high setting, so I have to do it quite regularly.
Oh, be careful with that.
It's a new lawn.
You don't want it to take on a life of its own.
No, but I don't want to go too deep on it at the moment. It's touch and go. The first time I did it, it looked like I'd staged a motocross event at the end of it, so I've had to be careful. But anyway, the lead came out while I was doing it.
Oh no!
One of the
How long did it take you to realise?
Well, it stops immediately.
Oh, good, okay.
But I also, if I know anything about modern gardening, the one thing I do know is don't mow over the lead. They always tell you that. So it happened, and I went, and that is something that my dad used to do. I'd completely forgotten about.
Oh, really?
I've never tutted. Unless maybe if I was doing a Skippy impression.
Yeah.
But I've never tutted in, kind of way. And I don't know whether it's to do... Made me wonder is because you can't really swear when you've got a small child, so maybe it's a substitute for that.
Maybe.
But it really, when people said...
He doesn't strike me as the type that would have bothered him particularly.
Oh, my dad?
Yeah.
Well, I never heard him swear much, to be honest. But I did hear him go... And in fact, when he got really upset, there was levels of intensity. So if he was really miffed, he'd go... It was like an animal alarm, like when beavers slap their tails on the water if there's a predator in the area.
Yeah.
It was like that. It was like he was warning the whole family that there was a cougar on the bank.
So that's rather nice that you're becoming like your dad.
Is he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I can cope with the regular pub fighting.
Not we all saw legs, no.
He did threaten to...
It happens to us all.
He threatened
I'll be
to
running
hang.
up bills I can't pay at Harvey Nichols soon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, he threatened to hang the manager of the Two Brewers from the lamppost outside.
He didn't actually.
He did say that, yeah.
Hang! It's so specific. Why didn't he just say, he'll do your head in? I'll hang you.
Yeah, he not only hanged him, but he actually named a location. And I think I'll stick with the Tottin.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So we should probably wrestle with the World Cup, which
the World Cup.
started.
The World Cup,
we should really discuss that. And the biggest story, I think, it's pretty much agreed universally. The biggest story so far is Robbie Savage nearly not making it because he took his wife's passport to the airport by accident and then tweeted. He thanked British Airways. At British Airways, great staff for rushing me through as I turned up with my wife's passport, just got it back in the nick of time. And then he said it's because they've got the same haircut.
Well, have you seen her?
I've seen
I
him.
mean, it's an easy mistake.
Yes.
I mean, both blonde bobs, both seen 1,000 Ibithas.
Well,
those faces.
This happened with me and Osher.
Did it?
I grabbed this. I don't know if you remember. Our readers may remember that I did a celebrity lookalike app, and that was what they found as my lookalike.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't quite work for me. But
I got Kate Garraway.
I took it. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean, you have
I had
to
a
wonder.
friend who was obsessed with Kate Garraway.
Oh.
Really?
Derek Draper. Then, dear reader, he married her.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't Derek Draper. Is he from Mad Men?
Derek Draper, no, it's Don Draper.
Oh.
Derek Draper's an MP, love, turned psychologist.
Need to sort themselves out with the names.
Sort themselves out?
Yeah,
The whole the man taking the woman's passport because of the haircut thing, that must have happened to Brian May and Anita Dobson.
Oh, yes.
Every time he goes on tour.
Yes.
Surely.
I sounded like the woman at the check-in desk at
Maybe that's
Heathrow.
why British Airways have got a system in place for it, because they've gone, it's the Dobson-May problem. Come on, let's sort this out.
It's like the Duckworth-Lewis method. Dobson-May problem.
Crankies, maybe it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and the lead singer of Europe, maybe.
I've got to say, I think we should not let it pass, though, that a man having the same hair as his wife is not a good thing, in my opinion.
Okay.
I mean, I was living with a woman who used Sun-In on her hair, and it went yellow.
Yeah. That was a sort of
but
80s
I tried
product,
it.
wasn't
I
it?
thought, I'll try this as well. We both had matching yellow hair.
Mm-hmm.
You had yellow hair?
Both of us, yeah.
Oh.
It really looked like we'd deliberately done it. Like when sometimes I once saw Canadian tourists who both had maple leaf leather jackets on.
They love that.
Oh.
That was awful. But I don't think men dyeing their hair is very acceptable.
You think not?
No, and I don't think we should be so
See, I think it's very
so forgiving.
accepted. It is accepted, isn't it?
Is it?
I think these
Is
days.
it all right that he's got long, yellow, blondie hair like that? I don't think it is. If I had the choice between dyeing my hair and just dying, I'd go for the latter.
Oh, you know what? We're all God's children.
It's different for the ladies. I think ladies dying. I don't want it for blokes go.
That sentiment was brought to you from 1953.
No, I
It's
just think
different
it's
for the ladies.
It's a tradition for the ladies dyeing their hair, and I accept that. But I'm not. We see Australian cricketers with the blonde highlights.
Well, you're thinking of one specifically. He's got all sorts of problems.
I don't think it's a good thing. If I was going to dye my hair, I'd go sort of blue or red. Something like that.
Disgusting. Red.
But the
you
idea,
with red hair.
what I don't like is the idea that Robbie Savage thinks he's fooling us. he thinks
Yeah.
that we're thinking, oh, he's very blonde. I wonder if he's got any Scandinavian blood in him.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like the fact that he's sniggering at my back as I leave the studio. That he's fooled me with his hair dyeing.
He
Go
got
on.
through. He got through though, didn't he?
Yeah.
They
How
let him
did, how
through.
did he get through with his wife's passport?
Well, just through it with his face as ID.
No, I think they must have let him get it couriered to him or something.
No, do you know what
Well,
he
did
did?
they? Sounds suspicious to me.
He offered one of them a tunes.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Well, he had more success than I did.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
By the way, that Robbie Savage story, I told my wife it. I read it and went, oh, Robbie Savage nearly didn't get to the World Cup because he turned up with his wife's passport because they've got the same hair. And I think it is the most she has laughed at anything I've said in about the last 5
Really?
years. It really tickled her. I mean,
Really?
like it's up there with the time that I did an impression of Duncan Bannatyne and she got a bit of marmalade cake stuck in her tonsils.
Oh, really?
3 days, yeah.
I remember that.
It's about the funniest she's ever
I think it was
found.
in the Express.
Yeah, it was definitely the Express.
Just under that picture of Princess Diana on the cover.
Yeah. I think it was
Every day.
Scottish Express as well.
Probably, yeah.
What about Gary Lewin?
Oh, yes.
That was the other, apart from Thierry's cardigans, that's been the other big news.
Yeah.
So he's a physio, isn't he? He jumped up to celebrate
Yeah.
and he dislocated his ankle. He trod on a water bottle.
Well.
I tell you what his wife put it. She said, he's broken the end of his tibia and fractured the end of his fibula.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Edward
I
Lear.
think
Now
she might be in the
hear
biz
the
as well.
word of the Lord. Yeah, she's. You can tell she goes out with a physiotherapist. She's gone to the chart. That's what she's. Because she's gone to that chart in his office,
Yeah.
and she's actually she's named and shamed.
You know what his daughter said, which
She
I
might
love?
well have a qualification in it herself.
She might.
Guess what the daughter said?
What did
Oh,
she
they stick
say?
together.
She said, obviously he's gutted. She actually said
Brilliant.
gutted as the
Sick
official
as a parrot.
statement.
Dad's
Yeah.
as sick as a parrot.
Yeah.
We're over the moon to be getting him back, though. Brilliant.
I shouldn't think. If he's going to get injured every time England score in a World Cup, he's not going to have too
It could have been all right.
trepidatious a life. We say this, of course, they might have won 4-0 on Thursday.
Yeah.
They might.
Although why I
They
was
might be out.
embarrassed.
More likely they're out.
I was embarrassed for him though, because it seemed disproportionate to have an injury like that.
yeah.
It wasn't like, England Germany penalty shootout, was it? We didn't even win.
No, but when we did win in 1966,
Yeah.
Alf Ramsey, the England manager, didn't even applaud. He didn't get up out of his seat. He just sat there very calmly.
Oh.
Because he knew that when you get to be a middle-aged man, you don't want to be running around the edge of the pitch. It's an uneven surface.
Yeah.
You're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
But Gary Lineker thinks he's still, one of the players. Let the players celebrate.
Yeah.
I like it. They gather their belongings, they pick up their Lucasade crates.
Belongings.
Yeah, and then they get into the dressing room and leave it to the players to celebrate. And they should be plotting the next assault.
Well, the
When I say assault, I mean the assault on the World Cup.
Yes,
I'm not
we
suggesting
should
that
clarify.
England team are
I just worry about the laddie sport banter that he'll get now.
lady, you pronounce it.
Lady.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I thought
Oh,
it was
sorry.
laddie.
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant.
No,
Well-
I think they'll be like, when they next see him, they'll be like, watch out, Gary, there's a bottle of water there, don't slip and hurt your foot on that. Like, you
Yeah,
won't be
lovely.
able to walk past the butchers.
Well,
'cause
Rio
of the wet-
Ferdinand had to apologise already.
Yeah.
He said, my bad, didn't he?
He did say my bad.
What did he
didn't
say?
realise.
He was laughing. What did he
He
say?
tweeted something like, the physio's hurt, what happened to run it off, lads, or something, like they would say run it off. And,
Yeah.
and then he had to tweet an hour later saying, just found out that the injury's quite serious, sorry, my bad. It's
I
fine.
don't think you have to apologise for that. Surely banter is the very life's blood of the world of
And
football.
also, he's only a
dressing room.
physio.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Come on, he's not one of the real stars, is
No, I
he?
mean, I wasn't
No.
thinking, oh no, how are we going to get on now? And we've got no chance now in the World Cup without our main physio.
That wife, she's been speaking out again. She's quite pushy, that physio wife.
Is that
Mrs.
right?
Lewin. Well, there's no stopping her, Frank.
She's
she
probably
blame the
drinking
ground crew?
embrocation.
Guess what she said now? She said she's got a conspiracy theory.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
She blamed the groundsman. She said they shouldn't have watered the AstroTurf in front of the dugout. Well, tell me about it.
Well, they should have, if they were going to
mean-
do it, they should have took the water out the bottles first.
Never blame the groundsman.
That's a good adage for life.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, not the Changing Man. I've had this suit on for 3 weeks. You can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Do not text us this week because we ain't live.
Oh, I don't know about ain't.
Ain't is what sort of salesmen say.
Oh,
You know what I
can't
mean?
bear ain't.
Deliberately, stylishly say ain't.
Did they?
Yeah, they say, I'll tell you something, I ain't joking.
Oh, yeah.
They'll say that, yeah. God bless them if there's any salesmen listening. Respect.
Poor devils.
Going back to Robbie Savage, I
always like to.
I flew at the weekend.
Did you?
That's where I had my tunes incident.
Yeah.
This thing where you have to put your toiletries into a see-through plastic bag.
Oh, yeah.
What is the X-ray equipment? Has it broken down at airports?
Well, they just want absolute clarity.
I know, but
Absolute Clarity is a station that they're working on, isn't it?
absolute clarity.
Yeah.
What they X-ray the rest of the bag. Why should the toiletries have to be in something see-through? Why not have to have see-through luggage?
You're looking at me quite searchingly as if I am an aviation official.
It doesn't make any sense to me, the see-through bag for the toiletries.
No.
I quite like it.
Do you?
Yeah, I like the see-through
I
bag.
find it very
Especially
annoying.
if I'm travelling with a gentleman. I like to know what he's got up his sleeve.
Oh, no. That's half the surprise, I think. You can get into a hotel room. Anyway. Oh, speaking of injuries, what about... this is a real bad one.
Oh, this is so embarrassing.
If Harrison Ford is going to get injured, don't get injured by the Millennium Falcon. I mean, that is just wrong.
He suffered chest and pelvic injuries, and he broke his ankle as well, just like Gary.
I know, it's been a week for that.
Gary Lewin's wife had something to say about Harrison Ford.
Yeah, what did she say?
No, I'm sure she did, though.
She said they shouldn't have watered the Millennium Falcon.
Exactly. Yeah, it was out of control. It was. I'll tell you what I learnt though from the Harrison Ford story.
A hydraulic door fell on him, we should say.
Yeah, or closed. Did it? It fell, didn't it?
Yeah, it fell
from the Falcon.
He had one of his falls, Frank.
He did. He's got an interesting face, actually, Harrison Ford. He's a handsome man viewed through water, is what he looks like. Because as he's got older, one eye's got a bit big and the mouth's gone slightly, and it just looks like he's... I didn't know that he was married to Callista Flockhart.
Oh, I did.
I did, but fairly recently. They've
Really?
really passed me by for ages, that.
Yeah.
I can't work with you people.
Yeah.
You know nothing.
Well,
But
we're up now.
It did strike me that their children...
Congratulations.
I don't know if they've got children, but if they do...
They've got adopted children,
Well, their surnames will almost certainly be Ford Flockhart. And I bet at school they get teased because that sounds like Fort Boyard, the old Leslie Grantham game show. You remember where
think so?
Yeah, you remember where
I'm not sure in Bel Air if they're that aware of Fort Boyard.
Oh, I don't know. Surely they remember. Remember that there used to be that...
I mean, we remember it, but I don't think the kids in
there used to be
LA
a dwarf used to run around the perimeter of the sea-bound citadel. Absolute full pelt. I used to think, be careful, for goodness sake.
Was Melinda Messenger in that? Who else was in Fort Boyard?
Was Messenger in it?
A Messenger?
I don't know about that. I don't know if Messenger was in it, but certainly Grantham. This was pre-internet days, I think, of course, when things went a little bit wrong. Oh, we forgave him for shooting someone in a taxi cab, but we couldn't forgive him for that.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
The thing about this Harrison Ford is they're currently having to shoot him from the waist up.
They did that with Elvis on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah, but I hope they don't write it into the script and it's all clumsy. Don't get up, hands. That's what they're going to say. No, honestly, you stay sitting.
I like the idea of it being written in, because the next film is 35 years after the last one, so in that time, he could have become quite a frail old man,
Well, they could put him in like a space-age wheelchair, which would look brilliant.
Yeah, and say stuff like,
Or he could just be leaning on a stable door for the whole thing.
The whole thing.
With the bottom bit closed.
They're going to have to give him one of those little alarms. You know, on the lanyard they give the elderly.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Ford knows help is on its way.
But it's
That's
set
what
in-
it'll say.
It's set in the future, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I think a hover wheelchair would be
That'd be
fantastic.
good.
Yeah.
Well,
And
Think
maybe
about
just
it.
a more frail Han Solo, like he's drinking Ovaltine and he's got brittle bones and stuff, so he's got to be careful. That's fine, isn't it?
Whose injury is less
for that.
embarrassing than Gary Lewin's, to be fair? But neither are as embarrassing as my friend Jane, who got up excitedly to dance to the theme tune to George and Mildred and broke her ankle.
wow.
Yeah.
How does it go, the theme tune to George and Mildred?
I don't remember.
Ouch.
I'm usually pretty good on those, but I don't remember. It's good you can dance to it.
Yeah, you can.
She couldn't. She broke her ankle.
Oh, you're right.
I once poked myself in the eye with the corner of a duvet, and it was one of the most painful injuries I've ever had.
Oh, what were you doing down there?
I was leaping out of bed. I mean, why I was that happy to greet the world, it doesn't sound like me,
Leaping
does
out
it?
of bed?
I leapt out of
Do you
bed.
sleep diagonally?
I sort of
He's so starfish.
flicked the covers like that and kind of went, whoa, this isn't making great
You
radio.
went,
I'm saying
whoa.
like that.
Yeah.
And I bounced. This is years ago, so I was much more jolly then,
If
I
you
imagine.
can draw a diagram, we can
Yeah.
put it on the website.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
They can look at while they're
We
listening
could
to this.
probably make a vine of it if we knew what that was or how to do that.
A vine?
That's what they're all about.
I can
now,
imagine
isn't
you being
All
very
about the
excitable
vines.
and playing a bit of Supergrass, maybe.
it? Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
Can't you imagine,
yeah.
Frank, back in the 90s?
We are
Then he was
yay,
trying to
yeah.
show off to a girl, going,
Yeah.
"Ooh, flying carpet, flying, ow!" Yeah, I can imagine that happening. What if you did one of those when the feather's sticking out a bit, you know?
Oh, don't you hate a rogue feather in the bedroom?
Oh,
Pardon? Yes.
Oh, I can't
yes.
bear it.
no, it's awful. They're quite pointy at one end.
Exactly.
Yeah. Whereas at the other end,
Yeah.
well, I think my most embarrassing. It's embarrassing, but it's almost Rickett's-esque.
Yeah.
I started to get real pains in my right shoulder, and I worked out. I'm not certain about this. I think it was I had my photo taken so much in those days with my arm round people that I got repetitive strain injury.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, in recent years, it seems to have healed up.
Oh,
Now, what does that
Frank.
tell you about my career?
Or is it just that more people are doing selfies and there's no need for your arm to go around?
You know,
That's
that
probably just-
could-
Oh,
that
that's so
could be
kind
it.
of you, Alan.
Yeah, I try and bail out his.
You've helped him out. You've helped a
self-confidence every
brother
now
out.
and again. Yeah.
Yes.
So like,
You
I'm
might
a
be
good
right.
guy. I'm a good guy.
What about when I broke my toe in a wardrobe and Philip Schofield's driver had to take me to A&E? It's awful.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
Was this white hair or black hair? Do you remember he had a
white-
period when he dyed his hair black?
Yeah, silvery.
Oh, we stuck with that. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
I should say it was in a professional capacity. I wasn't at his house or anything.
No. I assumed he was playing Mr. Timnus.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I fancy a little wander, and you know where I like to go when I fancy a wander.
Well, it just so happens I have the vehicle. Email corner. Wonga wonga.
Lovely. So this first missive is from Prisoner 389.
Okay.
He says, "Dear Frank, the Divine Miss M, and Venn diagram.
Oh,
Sorry,
why
Alan.
Won't they let it drop?
Long-time reader, first-time writer. On the way back from a very rare visit to my local pub this evening,
Oh, I know how it feels.
I decided I must discover for myself a regular friend of the show I've been meaning to search out for years. Bear with me. After a good 10 minutes stumbling around the local graveyard,
Oh dear.
I'm less confident this is a rare visit, accompanied only by 2 friends and dim lighting from our mobile phones, we finally managed to locate the grave of Peter the Wild Boy.
Ah.
He's well hidden. Hence
Yes, that's it with burial. I find they tend not to leave. They don't want to leave bits out.
Hence the 10-minute search, but next time you're in a North Church, pop by and I'll show you where he is. I live just over the road and I'm considering becoming an official tour guide just for readers. Oh,
We
that'll
should
keep
go.
you busy most of the year.
That would be a nice outing
I'd love
for
to
us.
go.
Yeah.
I'd love
so.
to go.
We can sit around there and sing songs without words.
Eat onions.
Yeah.
They could leave an onion on the grave like they do with cigarettes on Jim Morrison's grave.
Yeah,
And
we can,
apples
and we
on
can stare into fires.
Stare into fires, yeah. That's
Yeah.
really good for your retina.
Yeah, he
Sometimes.
loved that.
That sounds like a great day out, guys.
Where is it again?
North Church.
Church.
Where's that?
Well, why are you asking
I
me?
think
Well,
it's,
I don't know.
is it Buckinghamshire or something
Oh,
like
come
that?
on, you're guessing wildly.
Yeah, I'm guessing wildly where Peter the Wild Boy is buried.
I like a famous grave. I've visited many a one in my time.
Oh,
I think we once had a
What's your
text
favourite
in,
grave?
didn't we, about,
We did do what's your favourite grave.
Yeah, I
I
stopped.
like Karl Marx.
I stopped going to them because it's hurting my shoulder up in my photo took with the headstone. You want a photo with your arm around the headstone? That's what it's all about.
That was
Swing.
one of my that was my bogeyman when I was growing up, Karl Marx. I was terrified of him.
Really?
No, it was Martin Luther in our house.
How was it?
My dad used to say Martin Luther will come and get you. It's an anti-Protestant child rearing. Oh, happy days. Any other emails now that we're truly cornered?
Let's carry on. Dear Alan, good start.
Oh, lovely.
Good
Al.
start. I'm waiting for the rest of the list.
Sadly absent. I think this is a direct to me email.
Fair enough.
I was re-listening to a podcast from April, the show when a listener corrected you about your use of a word you use to say you are, for example, moving on to email corner. You remember this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Alan, you were right. I just thought I'd leave that as a pause there because I'm enjoying that. Alan,
Yeah.
you were right. Take a look at the link below, which shows the definition of sachet, which is to walk in an ostentatious yet casual manner, typically with exaggerated movements of the hips and shoulders. Not sachet, as the listener was inferring. They weren't inferring, they were claiming. They were, chastising me. Long-time listener, regular emailer, loyal subject, Kelly.
Well done. You've dispelled all confusion there, Kelly. In fact, it's a sort of a sachet dispel.
Oh,
If you
I love that.
remember Sachet Dispel,
loved
but he
it.
sang Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head.
They
But,
play a lot of his music in that shop where your Nora buys the cards.
That is
He's
how we
very
get to...
handsome, though.
That
He
is
was
how we get to
lovely.
email corner, isn't it? We walk in an ostentatious yet casual manner, typically with exaggerated movements of the hips. And in
Yes.
fact, I think that might have been what has caused my back problem, which has reared its head
And
since
maybe
doing
my
the show.
thigh pains.
All that sashaying into
And,
email corner.
And Emily's extra storage.
I've got a theory we
The
should
whole
be
thing.
warming up before the show. We should.
I think you'll find my
stretch our
extra
hip
storage has a
flexors.
name. It's called I Have an Anterior Pelvic Tilt.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a beauty.
There's a song about that, isn't there? I have an anterior pelvic tilt. There isn't.
And I ride the main road. Shall we sidle on to the next track?
Oh, go on.
Oh, we're not really going to do that. So don't get too excited. You don't want to be worshipping false sidles.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
What about in that musical interlude when I just said I had a body like Diego Maradona?
It's shook us all, that. I mean, waxing is so easily attainable nowadays.
No, I just
There's no
meant-
excuse for it.
I just meant
She's an Argentinian.
he's got a bit of an anterior pelvic
What's that?
tilt.
What is an Argentinian? I know what a Brazilian is.
Exactly.
No,
Sorry.
no, you can't get that anymore. They don't allow you to get Argentinians anymore.
No, quite right. Arterial pelvic.
Anterior.
Anterior. Yes, okay.
I've got it.
Antarctic.
Scott Parker's got it.
Scott Parker's
He
got
might
it.
not know.
Oh, sorry. No, but it's a lovely positive thing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I suppose it is.
And Sterling's got it.
Weebles, they all had it.
No, they haven't.
Have they not?
They've got no definition. They're like potatoes.
Yeah, they are. They're creatures which cannot be pushed over. That's their definition.
Okay, let's...
We're still in the corner.
Yes, we are. We have something in from Michael Stone. Well, is he called Michael Stone Penzance? Or is he Michael Stone from Penzance?
He must be
I think
from
he's
Penzance.
from Penzance, yeah.
Okay. Dear Frank, Emily and Alan, the only cap used is for the E, can I just say?
Okay,
I need your help.
if the cat fits.
I need your help, all caps locked.
Well, we're
Okay.
here to help.
Whilst reminiscing on a video-style sharing website of past glories of Absolute's very own Mr. Radio,
Blimey.
That's,
Lovely.
I was suddenly...
Can I just stop you there? Can I just say, on the subject of fame and glory, I went into the first-class lounge at Euston railway station,
oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and I walked in and the woman on the counter said, "I love you."
Brilliant.
Oh.
And I thought, well, no one said that to me for about 7 or 8 years. And I said, thank you very much. She said, no, really, I love you.
Oh, lovely,
Great.
thanks.
And I says, thanks. That's really nice. Thank you very much. And I went in, and as I walked away, she said to her, the bloke who was on the deck, she said, God, I'm really excited now. Doesn't take much, does it? Slightly spoilt it for me. Slightly spoilt it.
That's what Cass says as well.
That's what fame's all about. Carry on.
Anyway, Michael Stone Penzance continues. I was suddenly taken back to incubus I suffered some 19 years ago. I like his use of incubus.
Oh, I do as well.
Good vocab.
I've never used it in that form before.
During a clip of an episode of Fantasy Football, that was a show that Mr. Radio used to do with David Baddiel.
Yes, some 20 years ago it began. Can you believe that?
That's when I decided to get friends with you. In about 1995, starring Sean Bean and Lenny Bennett.
Okay, Sean Bean, he had a Brazilian.
A caption of Frank's team.
In fact, it's another term for it. Sorry, carry on.
He's lovely.
Yeah, he is lovely, handsome.
Yeah.
Terrible. Awful actor, though, isn't he?
Hey, don't say that!
Do you think?
Don't say that, he's in Game of Thrones.
I just think he's awful.
Do you?
No, you
That's
can't say that.
You know why? Because he's what you look at him and think, it should have been me. Because he's northern and he looks a bit like Icelandic around the eye
He's lovely
section.
looking, he's the housewife's choice, he's doing very well for himself.
Yeah,
Exactly, so he doesn't need my fandom. So
He's what the
fine.
cockerel could have been. That's
Yeah.
the worst star of all, isn't it? That
Yeah, maybe.
can't forgive that.
Don't
Maybe.
criticise my boyfriend's colleagues.
Hey.
I'll give you a bit more to think about.
Oh, bit more.
Okay.
I didn't know he was in Flashman. It wasn't called that, was it? What was it called, that thing when he played?
Sharp.
Sharp.
Oh, Sharp, that's it, yeah.
Sharp.
Anyway, a caption of Frank's team was shown. Its name, Mike Stone Must Die.
Yes.
You can see from below, this below being his name, this was a concern for myself. At the time, in fact, my sister assured me it was a personal threat. Please, could you clear up who was the Mike Stone in question? Yours, Michael Stone.
Well, the Mike Stone in question was Priscilla Presley's martial arts trainer,
Yes.
who ran away with Priscilla. He whisked her away from Elvis.
Did
And
he?
Elvis, for weeks, would walk around Graceland shouting, Mike Stone must die. And there's a story that 2 of the Memphis Mafia actually went and found a hitman. They thought they took Elvis completely literally on this, and they was going to have this bloke. But that's never been verified. But I think it was a difficult time for Elvis. As one
Quite
might
a difficult
imagine.
time for Mike Stone
Mike
as well.
Stone, yeah, but I suppose Mike Stone was a super cool 70s martial arts guy. I thought he was beyond reproach. But if the king had got hold of him with Mafia, that would have been the end of that, let's face it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Mike Stone Must Die was, I thought, a rather fine team name.
Should have spoken to your dad about hanging options.
Yeah, except you've got to catch that Mike Stone character first, so that wasn't easy. He was very oiled.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Don't look shocked. I just blew Anna a little kiss. I don't know what came over me.
Not sure about that.
Different on pre-records, isn't it?
I don't like
All
it in the
different.
studio. I
Really?
don't like it in the TARDIS, and I don't like it in the studio. That's where I don't like flirting.
You know,
Flirting! Me and the cockerel. You're having a laugh.
in the TARDIS. Is that a rule of yours? You don't like it?
Yeah, in recent years, there's been a bit of companion doctor
Right.
stuff, chemistry, which I'm not sure.
Well, I
I
would
know you
say,
didn't enjoy
no
the
one
romance
here...
scenes in the Musketeers, did you?
That wasn't romance, that was smut.
No one here get offended. I think there's the least sexual chemistry I've ever experienced in my whole life on this show. There's no sexual tension at all.
All right, that's rub our noses in it.
Well, that's the problem.
That'd create a sexual tension, yeah.
Okay. Sounds as if it says that's a bad thing.
No, I think
There's no sexual tension, basically, in my life. You know, so I'm of that sort of age. You know what George Melly said when his sex drive went? He said it was like getting off a runaway horse.
Really?
Makes you wonder about his sex life.
Oh, I tell you what I've got to tell you boys about. I went on the tube.
Oh, how ghastly.
Here. Whoa!
This is unacceptable. Do you want us to make some phone calls?
It's on the floor.
I've actually fallen off my chair.
Quite hard to fall off a chair, isn't it? Especially one where you've got arms on there. Like,
Yeah.
Now, what if I'd have got my arms caught underneath and ripped them both of them out the socket when I went down?
It's all gone a bit.
That's the sort of
It's all
health
gone a
and
bit
safety thinking I
Fordian.
do.
I always imagine they're joined by a single string that goes right across the inside of the chest, but that could be wrong.
Shoulders.
So you're on the tube.
I'm on the tube. Something of a harrowing experience, as you know.
Yeah.
I go through the automated gates.
Yes.
You're just learning these words.
Well, when I go through the automated gates, it's like the woman from Star Trek
When I
saying,
go
"What
through
is
the
this
automated-
water from your eyes?" That's what it's like, Frank.
When I go through the automated gate, sounds like a spiritual. When I go through the automated gates and meet the Lord my Saviour.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So I dashed through, and there was a station attendant. Is that what they're called, Daisy? You just strike me
I
as the kind of
don't
person
know
who'd
what
know.
they're called.
No, she strikes me as someone who'd have experience. Anyway,
Oh dear.
she was a Cockney girl.
Okay.
Right.
She was lovely, but she was a Cockney girl.
Yeah.
She called me back suddenly. I thought my oyster thingies had worked,
Yeah.
and she called me back. She went, "Excuse me." Oh, how humiliating. Commuters looking. "Excuse me, could you come here, please?"
Oh dear.
I went back. I clattered back in my Louboutins. I said, what can I help you with? I'm sorry, is everything okay? She went, "Yeah, could I ask you something, please?" I said, "What?" She went, "Where'd you get that skirt?" Wow.
Brilliant.
Well, no, not brilliant.
Oh, really? Did you saw that?
Apparently one had gone missing earlier in the day.
She was asking me quite aggressively. She said, "I just want that skirt. I need that because that would look good on me. Where's it from?"
Has she got an exterior, posterior area? What is it called?
Well,
Anterior pelvic
tilt.
Actually got that.
We'll get on to that, my
Okay.
friend.
Oh.
Let's hope you don't.
Can we shorten it? What's the abbreviation? APT.
APT, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Isn't that a delivery service?
So that's certainly very suitable, though.
Always deliver.
Apt, even.
Oh, lovely,
good.
Frank. Oh, I'm so proud of you.
Oh, words.
Oh. So then she said, "How much did it cost and where's it from?"
Well, are you sure you weren't going through a railway station in Soviet Russia? Blimey.
Yeah, was his papers, please?
Well, then it was difficult because what I couldn't tell her is it was a gift from the designer.
Brilliant.
And if
you
you were
could've
to
told
buy
me.
it new,
She'd have pulled a knife across your face. She'd have told her that. Don't worry about that. So how did you
one was, I didn't feel it was the right situation to use the phrase one.
No.
But if one was to buy such an item, it would cost in excess. There would be a G on it, I'm afraid.
Gee.
Yeah.
What
Be
does
a
that
G
mean?
and a half.
1,500 quid for a
Yeah,
skirt.
I believe so. I didn't buy it. It was a gift.
Bicycle! Bicycle! Sorry, but I've had to come up ways of not swearing now. And I'm...
So I said, I said, look, you know what I did? I did.
Can you not down adjust your bra strap when you're talking to me?
My tilt's playing up. So what I did, Frank.
You know what? I'll kill that typist.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I've upset Emily now by saying Michael Gove has got anterior pelvic.
He doesn't, and I said no. It's a bit more, just a bit saggier. We're allowed to say that.
I'm afraid with Michael Gove it's all gone a bit pear-shaped.
It has.
Anyway, what I'm supposed to say at this point is this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. And you can follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio or email us to the Absolute Radio website. But do not text this week because we're not here.
No.
I actually died in a unicycle accident Friday morning. And this is a tribute to him now.
To him. To him.
Frank Skinner, who died in a unicycle accident Friday morning. What if I do now? That'll be weird.
It will be weird.
There's weirder stuff. Carry on.
I like that in
Not
the news
much.
bulletin they feel the need to say Friday morning.
Yeah, well, you know, they like to identify.
Oh, where
They
was
give
I?
news, don't they? They do
Oh, I
give-
was telling you about the
the expensive
when I
skirt.
was on the tube
Yeah, the 1,500 quid skirt.
and the station
A
attendant
novel by Beryl Bainbridge.
and the station attendant
And the station
And
attendant.
she was asking me, quite aggressively cross-examining me. It all went a bit your witness. I mean, how much did it cost and where's it from? That's what she said. So anyway,
Was a crowd gathering at this point to see how much the skirt cost?
There were a
That's what I'm
couple,
guessing.
couple of businessmen loitering with intent,
Yeah.
but then there always are when I'm around. And so anyway,
Did you go 20 quid TK Maxx? Just
no, what I did, because I didn't want to say A, it was a gift from a designer, and B,
No, that was a good idea.
it's very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I said, do you know there are some wonderful high street ones? I did.
Okay.
I said you should go. I suggested some shops you should go to, and there are. I said there's some wonderful high street copies.
did she eventually stop hitting you, or was it just?
She looked at me. She went,
she
"I
dragged
don't
her?
want them. I want that one.
Whoa.
Don't I like that one?
Was she
Did
similar in size
She
to you?
didn't mean your actual one, did she?
I don't know." So I said, "She said, where's that one from, and how much it cost?"
I wonder if she was a sort of demented Bucks Fizz enthusiast. Okay. So,
So she carried on. I said, "Yeah." I said, "I think they've got some in Topshop which are quite similar.
oh dear, you were...
So if you go there, but where's that from?"
Okay.
Then she said, "I mean, what size are you? You're like me, like a 14 or something."
Say. And then you slashed her across the face with your knife.
No, can I tell you what I did?
I have no idea what size
took a
Emily
little
is.
Can I tell you what I did?
Smashed her
I
with it.
pulled up my jacket to show her my waist, which is my best feature.
Okay.
I said, "No, look." And I pulled up the jacket. I actually pulled it up. I said, "I'm an 8.
Can you be absolutely certain she looked at your waist, which is your best feature? Is that?
What do you mean?
You don't think she just got distracted when you lifted up your jacket
I
like
actually
that?
lift my jacket up.
And the businnemen presumably passed out at that point when they were.
Can I say there was...
Can I say I think your soul is your best feature?
Oh, very
Oh, that's lovely, that is.
I'm not going to add to the diminishing remark. I've said it now. Carry on.
Anyway, there's nothing wrong with being a size 14, I should say.
I believe Marilyn Monroe was a size 14.
I believe the average British woman is a size 14, and it's a very nice size
Really?
to be, but
That low?
I am...
Most of them seem to be at the sort of grampus proportion.
and have hair like Elton John.
Yes.
But
Sir Elton John.
I'm small. Oh yeah, the insult won't mind at all.
Yeah.
I'm smaller statured, so that would be out of control on me if I was 14, okay?
Okay.
Anyway,
But it must be a tricky one if you've got anterior pelvic tilt, forgetting the size.
well, you just have to get everything made. Anyway,
There's
so
always that as a solution, I suppose. I hadn't thought of that.
so in the end, I just said I was angry with her after the 14.
Oh,
comment,
really?
I'm
So
afraid.
that the worm turned, as it were?
I said it's £1,000 and it was a gift from the designer.
And her head is still rolling across the station floor. Wow, where did she take that?
She was
Next.
No, she was quite nice in the end. I felt guilty. She went, "Oh,
Oh, no, it was out of her reach. Why don't
No.
you take that skirt and give it to that
Shall
woman?
I?
Yeah.
it won't fit her."
You'll never find her.
No.
She's at the tube.
Keep it. Just keep
No.
it.
She's probably...
Can I tell you what I said when I left? Because I wanted to keep things nice between us. I said, "Good luck with the search."
Oh.
Surge. She'll have to have some surge suit.
Surge.
Oh, no.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Now, on the subject of fashion, I wore jeans this week.
What?
At my age. Can you imagine it?
Clarkson.
I don't think I could have worn an Evil Knievel outfit with more devil-may care than I wore those. I really thought...
You don't wear
To
What
hell
were the
with
them now,
jeans
do you?
like, may I ask? Were they free for a start?
They were silver tabs.
Oh,
You
were they
familiar
free?
with those?
Answer the question, please. Were they free?
They were. They may have been free originally. I don't think so. I don't
Okay.
really wear jeans anymore. But I was crawling about on the lawn, and I thought, you know what, I want to put jeans on. That's
fine. Silver tabs is
it's
fine.
a walk down memory lane.
When you say you were crawling about on the lawn, was that gardening or?
I started
playing-
drinking again. Did I not tell you that? I've been
That was-
keeping that to myself.
That was the next part of the question I was going
sorry.
to ask you.
Sorry,
No.
we can do that again if you like.
No, that's all.
okay.
Was
No,
it
I
gardening?
tell you, I actually had a bit of a traumatic experience this week.
What happened?
I'm doing. I've done a DVD of my stand-up show,
Lovely.
and when you do a DVD, the DVD company like extras. Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
So they like a sort of extra 20 minutes of stuff that you know. So I did a documentary which was filmed, I think, in 1999 for ITV, and. I thought it might be interesting to put that on. As the show is partly looking back to what my act used to be like and what it's like now. So I had to watch it to make sure it was okay. And so it was me 15 years ago.
How was that?
Well, first of all, I was so badly dressed. I can't...
I'm so glad you said that.
Oh, I mean, it was
I couldn't say anything for years. I mean, you look lovely these days.
It must have been a night... How good of you to be friends with me at that stage, because
Why don't you turned up in that fireman's jacket?
I can't... Yeah, but that was one of the better things. I mean, I was wearing what we used to call Tesco Levi's.
Oh, yeah.
Which were like jeans that aren't really quite jeans.
Oh, yeah.
And trainers that had no brand name on them.
Oh, dear.
So, like when I'm going to be a Wimbledon champion, I'll be wearing stuff with no brand. I was wearing it already. I looked, honestly, I can't believe. And I was, I was massive in those days.
How was the hair?
That was my height. The hair looked like a football hooligan. Mm. And I told a couple of stories about women in this, where I referred to them as birds.
Oh, did you?
Couldn't believe it. It's like, honestly, like the Lightly lads.
Wow.
Oh.
I had no idea. I came over as quite laddish, I thought.
I mean, that
Anyone
is
would think you were some sort of new lad, Frank.
That has been pointed out, though.
No, but I didn't think it was quite... It really was. I haven't completely processed it yet. I felt... I wasn't sure that I totally liked me, I'll be honest with you.
That's how I see you in the 90s, in one of those grey England shirts. I'm going to be honest about this, a Birmingham jean.
Yes.
And
I was
slightly chaotic hair.
I think my hair was cropped pretty tight to the skull. Mm. And I sounded more Birmingham than I do now. Perhaps I was just closer to my root. Mm-hmm. Me root, natty root, dread, natty dread. Looking back. Is that all right?
Oh, my God.
Is that acceptable?
The nice thing is
that
you met Kathy when you were still a bit like that, so you know she loves you for your soul.
Well, I'm assuming she loves me for my money, because I wasn't very nice.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This show's not about showbiz gossip, is it?
No, certainly not. No. What's next?
Mariah Carey.
Oh, yes.
She's been in the papers for trying to use a picture of herself from 1997. It's a bit like you and your DVD.
Yeah, I wouldn't use that.
I thought you were looking at me and I genuinely felt a surge of panic.
When I said Mariah Carey?
No, when you said trying to use a picture of yourself from 1997, because I do have... Well, we'll discuss this.
Do you?
Yeah, I do use some old photos.
What, on Twitter?
On everywhere.
Oh, okay.
You should see my driving licence. I've got school bags with me. A uniform. Honestly, some of my photos are so old. That's how I like to keep it.
Though?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't know why.
My passport photo, I took 49 tries. I've got them all.
You're kidding me.
No.
I'll show you. I've had so many because it had to be right. People will see that you go on a holiday with a man. It's a shock when he sees the age. So you want the photo to be nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about Mariah.
I never thought about that.
Yeah. She put a picture of herself up on the old Twitter and said that she was spending time with dem babies, D-E-M.
Oh, yeah.
Sick, spelt incorrectly.
That's the children, is it?
Yeah, I guess so. And
well, I was just thinking in 1997, I don't think she'd had her implants put in.
No.
You can see on the picture. I'm wondering if she's referred to her previous breasts as dem babies. Could that be it?
In 1997, Frank was going, great birds.
Yeah.
Brought a couple of birds back.
But she does. She looks less buxom on that, so I think it might be pre.
And the face is a little bit different. I'm going to say.
Well, I mean, she's younger.
She's a lot younger, frankly. I'll say it.
I like her better now. Let me tell you that.
Do you?
Yeah, I like that. Now I think she'd be an extravaganza in the bedroom.
Pardon?
Whereas.
An extravaganza
in
the bedroom? What on earth is wrong with you?
He's got a big house, hasn't he? He can fit an extravaganza in his bedroom.
Describe it as an extravaganza.
That's a compliment, isn't it?
Does that mean outgoing? That means outgoing, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to know what it means.
No, she's more real now, Mariah.
Since the implants.
Since the implants. Yeah, how often does one say that? Remember, she had reality implanted. What about that?
Yeah.
Reality implanted is the title of my new experimental movie. I hope you'll come and watch it.
She's got a lovely little sense of humour, I've heard.
I'm not sure about that.
Oh. Oh, you're not worried. She's such an extravaganza. Who cares?
Isn't she a bit of a diva? Isn't that her thing?
Yeah, but so am I. But look how lovely I am.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, that's
Good
absolutely
point, well made.
true. I married Mariah Carey in 2001.
Did you?
Yeah. Hello?
Okay.
I did.
You didn't.
I did.
What happened?
I was on the last episode of Ant and Dec's SMTV.
Oh, yeah.
And Ant got married to Mariah Carey in a big sketch, and I was the priest.
Oh.
Thus, I married Mariah Carey
I see.
to Ant.
Oh, do you know what's a bit sad? I was the priest. That's a bit like in the nativity play. I was the sheep or something.
Well, as you can imagine, the priest was the job I was after.
Totally.
But we all rehearsed together, but Mariah wouldn't rehearse with us. She worked with an acting coach or something in a hotel room, and she had all her lines completely off pat.
Yeah.
Pat Phoenix was. But she wouldn't come and she didn't do any casual chit chat or anything like that. As a bit. I didn't feel-
casualities.
She ain't. You know what? She ain't Jenny from the block.
No.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I would like to talk about the most hysterical woman in the world. I love this woman.
Okay,
You might think I deserve that title,
it's not for a second.
but this woman's even more highly strung than me.
No.
She's from the West Midlands area, Frank. So you might be familiar with her.
Usually a great leveller.
She's Birmingham. She had an argument with the owner of an ice cream van.
Yes,
Did you read
this
about
woman.
this?
Yes.
He sold her an ice cream, and he only put bits on one half. So she called 999.
Yeah.
And did you see they transcribed the recording of her complaint?
Mm-hmm.
I can't say it because I can only do Adrian Charles when I do a Birmingham accent.
That's all right.
Okay. I've ordered an ice cream and he put bits on one side and none on the other, is what she said.
Yeah.
And the
She's-
police said we literally get hundreds and thousands of these calls a week. You know they did that.
No, but I'll tell you what, that's a fair point, though. It's very misleading that they're called hundreds and thousands, because you don't get hundreds and thousands, so she has got a right to complain. No, I think that I once there was a fish and chip shop on Langley High Street,
Yeah,
in Langley Green in the West Midlands,
yeah.
and they said, it said sausage, chips and beans, and however much it was, probably about 40p.
Yeah.
So I went in, and
That's when I laughed nastily.
she gave me the meal, and it was a sausage with
Oh.
chips and beans. And I said, excuse me, I think your sign says sausages, chips and beans.
You didn't really say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was,
Of course it is.
Look at the way he leapt in with, cockerel.
I was only about 14 as well. And I said, no, it says sausages. She said, well, that's, that doesn't mean anything. I said, well, yeah, it's a plural, if you're aware of it. So I said, she said that's not saying what it's. I said, of course it's saying. So if you'd given me a sausage, a chip, and a bean, you're telling me that I should have thought that was all right. And she said, oh, but that'd be stupid. I said, well, I think it's stupid to say sausages and give someone one sausage. She said, oh, just get out. So I went, and I went past the next day, and
Yeah.
very crudely in biro, they'd crossed out the S from sausages.
Had they?
The one at the end, I mean.
Yeah, but you know what?
Not
You made-
sausages.
You made that change in the world.
Yeah. Because, you know what, I stood up for my rights.
Be the change you want to see.
Yeah, exactly. I see myself as a sort of Rosa Parks figure. As far as sausages and chips and beans is
Sausage, chips and
concerned.
beans in the Midlands.
That is quite stingy of the ice cream seller, though. I mean, if someone said, or can you give us a few more sprinkles, mate? Why wouldn't you just do it? Unless it's Cochrane ices.
No, I think it might be like
you
a
gonna defend
rules
him?
thing. Yeah, what if it's
Knew
like
you would.
to ice cream purists? What if it's like to cocktail makers? You know, there's a certain order of things, and they have to be presented in a certain way. Like that's a Bloody Mary, not what
Like
you
the
think. is a Bloody-
mixologists, I believe they're called.
Yeah, like that. He might be going, no. Technically, the sprinkles go diagonally on that side. This is a proper ice cream, and I'm not going to mess it up just for you.
So his argument was aesthetic rather than economic, in your...
Well, I'm guessing. I'm just
Okay.
giving him the benefit of the doubt here. I don't know him. Do you? Do you
So
guys?
it's all gone a bit working lunch.
I might well know him.
You might be related to
I
him.
used to drink at a pub where when I used to come out of school, there used to be an ice cream van outside,
Yeah.
and Soup Dev used to be the ice cream man. He used to Sukhdev Singh, he was called, and he used to sell me ice cream, and then in the evening he used to serve in the pub where I drank. I told him I was a teacher. I think he asked me. In a way, we all are.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
You know, there's a song by the Proclaimers, the 500 Miles, which is actually...
classic.
Yeah, and it's come up on this show a couple of times recently, because somebody texted in about it.
I would walk 500 miles.
There was
there was something no
more.
If
you're going out with me, you wouldn't.
That's right. And there was Irvine mentioned, where I used to go swimming when I lived in that part of Scotland. Irvine no more.
Not the new West Brom boss.
No.
Okay.
Well, that song has ended up in the news. It's become a news story because of a chap in Southern California, Kenneth Field, a cartographic product engineer. And he...
Maps, is that cartography?
Cartography, yeah.
Good, very good. Very good, Frank. Got off early today, good.
You know, I'm subtly helping in the readers, in case any of them don't know.
He worked out exactly where they would have ended up if they walked 500 miles and then walked 500 more, because that's his gig, I think. He's a cartographic product engineer.
Okay.
His tongue-in-cheek response to an incorrect estimate from Twitter users, and he worked out that it would be
where did they end up then?
Poland or the Czech Republic if they went for the full 1,000 miles.
Oh, it's 500 then 500 more.
Yeah.
Now, so where would he end up? Czech Republic?
Yeah, Czech Republic.
Yeah. Oh, Finland, Latvia, and Spain if they were able to walk in the air.
Can I just say I know what it is? If the first 500 miles, France or Holland, and Poland and the Czech Republic for the full 1,000.
No, but...
Nice.
Oh, whoa. Hold it. Just
calm down.
What's up?
Well, I seem to remember in this song that he says, when I wake up, I'm always going to be the guy who wakes up next to you. So... let's assume they live together for a start off.
What, the two brothers?
No, him and the woman he's
the love interest, the lady, the bird. Should we say bird?
The bird in the song, yeah.
Let's take a walk down memory lane.
If he's going to walk 500 miles and then 500 more and then collapse at a door, which is what the song says, just to be the man who's at your door, then I've always assumed it was a round journey he was doing. I thought he was walking...
he's coming back!
He was walking 500 miles and then he was walking back again.
Much like you just wandering around the Central Reservation.
Well, I think it's him suggesting that his love for this woman is like an enormous bungee rope.
Except when he says, when I get drunk. Well, I know I'm going to... I don't want you getting drunk.
And he's Scottish. But I think it's
Don't get drunk.
It's a statement of they live together because he's the man who wakes up next to her and he's going to collapse down at her...
Lovely.
Sorry,
can't wait for that. A drunk Scottish man collapsing at my door.
I haven't really
And if I want that, I'll call Alan Cochrane.
I haven't really taken in anything since you said love is like an enormous bungee rope. I think that's wisdom.
Yeah, it is.
Really stayed in my head.
If I said to Kath, I'm going to be away, what would it take? Say, 6 weeks to walk 500 miles and then another 500?
Well, that's not in the song either, is it? It's not factoring in blisters or like rest breaks.
You say 6 weeks, not with my anterior pelvic tilt.
Okay, well, let's say 2 months. If I said to Kath, I'm going away for 2 months, and she said, where are you going? I said, well, I don't know, Latvia, Spain.
I don't know, Latvia.
And she said, well, what are you going for? And I said, well, to show how much I love you. I think there'd be a fracas.
Yeah.
That would be, it wouldn't work as a statement of love. Not in our house.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I like Kenneth Field, the cartographic product engineer in Southern California, that's gone to all this trouble for his tongue-in-cheek response.
He's completely misread.
He's what I call a pedantic cartographer.
Can I tell you what I don't like about it?
It's a round journey.
You think he's wrong, but
it's a round journey.
I'll tell you what I don't like about Love is Like a Bungee Cord, yeah, we know. What I don't like is the fact that his tongue-in-cheek response, just knock this thing up on Twitter, has more demonstrable, employable skills and actual product in that one jokey little response than the last 20 years of my professional life.
Come now.
Oh, come on. I've got no outputs. All I do is, talk.
Why has this turned into your therapy session suddenly? We've got the Proclaimers here.
I'm reading the thing and I'm thinking, oh, God, that guy did that. Look, he's made a graph. I can't even make a graph. He's done it.
No, a graph is good. I haven't done it.
It's not that good.
I can do a block graph, but I can't do one of those. So.
You have to
Not a
stay with your
circle
Venn
one,
diagrams. You're fine with those, Al.
Well, only conversationally.
true.
You don't know if I can draw them.
Oh, yeah, can you not?
No.
Oh, I've really gone off you.
Have you not got a compass at home?
No. I've got pens and paper, though.
Well, how do you play that
Oh,
game?
sorry, have you got a compass? How old are you?
Well, I don't use it
Oh, have you
for...
got a compass? You've got a protractor as well.
Because use it when I get friends around towards the end of the evening. I like to do that thing when you put your hands splayed out on the table and go, ow, ow. Yeah, that's how we end our evenings around our house.
You don't cook, do
You
you?
know, I've
So
actually,
you've gotta do something.
in demonstrating, I actually caught my finger quite badly with a biro. Thank God I didn't have my compass with me.
My compass! Like he carries it everywhere with him.
I've got a little case with the compass, protractor.
Have you?
and all
What was the third element in that? The ruler.
ruler,
I was a
yeah.
ruler fan
There's
myself.
always an eraser.
Oh, such a ruler
Surely
girl.
There's a set square in there, isn't there? There's
Oh,
a
no.
little
Oh, I
triangle.
never used that.
Oh yeah, maybe a set square.
I hated people that had those.
Didn't you?
Yeah, they were always blue tinted as well. What's that lad about?
Not always blue tinted.
Well,
but
not.
I
At
know,
our school
I know.
they were.
They were really.
They're more expensive, those ones.
Yeah, maybe. It's all a matter of degrees.
Very good, very good.
Anyway, look, it's been lovely, hasn't it? Says he, still lying in bed on Saturday morning. Yes, I don't think so. Okay, so, yes, thanks for listening. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. So that's all from us. Thank you so much. Now get out.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.